Alright guys, welcome back to part 2 of the dice collection. The last part was just all my sets that match, and I never actually gave a total at the end. It was 145 sets of dice, including the metal ones and the, class-specific set that I showed, or the sets I showed. So 145 sets times 7 dice per set, that's a lot. Today we're going over all the assorted, just extra dice that aren't necessarily part of a set. Not going through all these, I'm just going to pick out a couple. Let's see. This one's always cool. So I like this one, 2 different greens with silver. It's pretty cool. I think I might have inked or painted the numbers silver. I don't know if they were originally like that. Just a translucent green one. I definitely put the gold numbers on there. And then this one is just, I don't know. This is one that I think people could say, or would see it and say it's boring, but I like it. Really dark gray with bright yellow. Probably the easiest D20 ever to read. I mean, that just sticks out. I don't know how many I have, but here's how many. I also like just solid orange and black. Don't know how many are here, but this is my just bunch of extra D20s. We're gonna move these out of the way. Get out of here. Get out of here. That one I also, I think, painted the numbers. Let's do these ones next. They're just a little oversized. They're still the same kind of plastic. Same idea. This one is unique. So this came in a 2-pack, and my friend and I split them, and then we each got one. The other color was actually orange, but we rolled to see who gets to pick first, and he wanted the orange one, so I got blue. I like blue, it's fine. Let's see if we can get it first try. Something special happens when we get a natural 20. Oh, close. One more time. Nope, 15. So when you roll a 20 or cheat and do that, I probably should have zoomed in for the bigger ones. Let me turn the light off. It just starts lighting up. It's super cool. It will stop after a while, so if it does end up like in storage like this, it won't, run out. I don't know how the battery works. There doesn't seem to be a way on opening it, so hopefully it just lasts a while. Put the light back on. Okay. Then we got the real big boys. Here's a normal one. A little bit of a difference, just a little bit. All translucent, and I think this one's my favorite. I like this combination. They're all nice though, very bright, super easy to read. I don't really use these all that much. I'll use them when the group, like if they're fighting a big white dragon, I'm going to be using this to scare the hell out of them. I'm going to roll in front of them. Usually I'll roll behind my DM screen, hide the rolls, but I want to scare the hell out of my players sometimes. Also, these are different than, let's see. So if you look at this one, see how there's a 20 and then an 8 and a 14 and a 2 around it? And if we grab one of these, same exact thing. All the numbers are in the same spots. These are different. And I thought it was a spin down die, which we'll get to next, but it's actually not. So how this works is all the low numbers are on one side, the high numbers are on the other side, and then the middle numbers are kind of just spread throughout the middle. So this one's more like a coin flip than anything, I feel like. Really cool. Nice aspect to them. Alrighty, we're going to do a quick speed round for some other extra dice. I'm not even going to take them out of the bags because it's just so much. These are all my extra D12s. I mean, they're all being shown. There's some cool ones, but these are extra. Sometimes they get rotated into the dice I actually use. Let's see, where are the 10s? I see most of them. It's a big bag. Let's do this. These ones are nice. I have many of them, though, as you see. Shout out to Ziploc. Alright, nothing too crazy. And then they are different. So here's the percentiles. Pretty cool. This one's nice, but I have that whole set of those already. Ooh, this one needs to go in a different bag, actually. Let me do that real quick, because I will be showing that as well. And then we've got 8-sided dice. Not too many extra, because it is my favorite shaped die. Again, we have that set. I will show the bag that has all the dice I actually like a lot. And you'll see a lot of D8s in there and some other cool stuff. Here's our 4s. Really cool. Looking at these, most of them I have like a full set of that color. Like I've got a full set of those and those and those and those. I'm not gonna do them all. A whole bunch. So this one I was putting in a different bag because I have a bag of dice that are all different shapes or sides, rather, whatever. But this has all the like really unique kind of art. So from all different kinds of things. So these are pretty cool. This D12 I used for quite a long time. And you may be thinking, yo, where are all of your extra 6-sided dice? Well, I have a ton of those, so they're getting a separate little section. So we got these. Again, big bag of this. These are ones that have pips, the dots, and are also rounded. I have a lot of those orange ones. And a couple big dice. But these are just sorted by, these are pips with rounded edges. These ones are tips with the more sharp, not really sharp, but you know what I mean. More rigid, not rigid, edges. Then we got that style, but with numbers instead of the pips. D6s are, I don't know, the most common, I guess. I have tons and tons. We have mini versions of that. I did these ones by color, so there's clear and blue and purple. Where are the other ones? Pink, orange, yellow, and this cream color has a little bit of gold in it, actually. And then all the extra ones are just these. Oh, there's more. There's more. These are similar to these ones, same size, just a lot of funky, fun colors. I like these a lot. So many 6-sided dice. Then we have these ones, which are more like, what's the word? Like a casino dice. So we got an orange, a red, a yellow, sets of that, sets of these ones and these ones. And then these are cool because they have that, you know, old school clock font. We have 5 of those. I'll save those for last. These ones are fun. And they come with a story. So, I was working at a summer camp with teenagers who we'd go on field trips with them. Went to an arcade, and this was one of the prizes you could get for the tickets. And I was working, so I wasn't like playing the games and stuff, but the kids liked me because I'm a big kid and I got along with, you know, everybody. So I just put it out there like, yo, if you guys have extra tickets, like, just grab me one of these, I'd appreciate it. And this is what they got me. A bunch of kids who came back and were like, here, here. And I was like, oh my God. I had them in my pockets. My pockets were full of just dice. So it's a nice little memory that I got swarmed by like 10 kids, and they were all super happy to hook me up with some dice because they knew I was into it. So that was cool. Now we have these. I believe are from Magic the Gathering as well. I think they're loyalty counter dice for Planeswalkers. I mean, you could use them for that. Got a red set, green, white, blue, and then 6 little blue ones. Same style and everything. These are fun. We have wooden D6s, so I will take one out. 5. They're just straight up wood. I would like to get a full wood set, actually. I do not have that. Because, again, I need more dice, right? So nice wooden D6s. Okay, don't know why it cut out there, but these are D6s of various styles. These ones could have, or no, they couldn't, but these are rounded and they have the numbers. I didn't have many of them, so I just put these with these other dice I'm going to show off. Let's see. So the rest of the dice have something special on the 6-sided spot. This one's cool. At first I thought it was like a bear paw, but it actually just looks like it's a D20 like falling from the sky or something. So that's the 6. That's pretty cool. This one, I'm not much into dinosaurs. There's the 1. But we've got a cool pterodactyl on the 6 side. And I thought it was unique, so I grabbed it. Most of my dice that are not part of a set are just from like a little jar that was in the game store, and the dice were like a quarter each or something. This one just has a star for the 6. And then a lot of you guys might really enjoy these ones. Let me do I'll save the best one for last. We've got a beautiful D6 with Mewtwo silhouette as the 1, actually. So these ones have the 1 as the special icon. We also got this guy. We also got that guy. And you already know the best one. We got Squirtle. They had a ton more, but at the time I just grabbed these 4. They were having like a deal for these 4 specifically. So I grabbed them. And then actually I did forget about these ones. These I bought specifically for Lorcana as damage counters, because when you do damage to a character, it stays on. So if they have 2 damage, you put it on the card, just to be a reminder. And I just thought they kind of, between the font and the coloring and the shapes, it feels like just old school, like black and white type cartoons or movies, right? So I thought that fit the Disney theme of Lorcana perfectly. Also, I planned to buy more and then color them in each ink color. So like there's a ruby red color, an emerald green, so on and so forth. But never got to it because I don't really play the game as much anymore. Alright, so I ended the last collection video, part 1, with a picture of these. So, again, Magic the Gathering is a trading card game. I think it might be the oldest one, actually. I'm not going to do a history of that game. Anyway, so I saw these at the game store, and they're not official because you can see the symbols are very different. They're meant to just reference Magic. I mean, this one's a leaf and this one's a tree, so yeah. So I grabbed one of each. They all represent, again, one of the colors that you can play in Magic the Gathering. But this is a dice video, so let's pull these out real quick. So each one has 9 6-sided dice. All the pips represent the color, of course, and the 6s have the actual symbol. Let's see if I can get one out. Do it this way. Very cool skull, and again, it's on the 6 side, which I prefer over having something on like the 1 side. There we go for white. I think I found a way. Oh, no. Finger's too big. Get out of here. Get out here. All right, we're doing this. This might be my favorite just because water is my element. We'll do fire last because I have more to say on it. a leaf. So, I mean, these can obviously be used for D&D for whatever you want. I mean, if you're fighting a water elemental and they're using D6s, you can use these. Although the one that makes the most sense, I guess, is the red ones. There's a very, very popular D&D spell called Fireball, and they use D6s for damage, and the 6 is literally a flame, so they're kind of perfect to use for Fireball. Now, when I showed these off at the end of the last video, I did have one more that doesn't have anything to do with Magic the Gathering. Y'all should definitely recognize this symbol. Here. We got the Triforce from The Legend of Zelda. Let's do this. Pretty simple. Again, it's on the 6 side, so just cool to have. I'm missing 2. I gave 2 to my brother, who is the biggest Legend of Zelda fan I know. And I kept the rest for myself. Alrighty, next up we have some dice that have a weird number of sides. So we have 30-sided dice. There's the 29. Where's the 30 at? Should be on the other side of the 1. I'm better at finding the 1 than I am at the big number always. There we go, 30. These I want to like re-ink, especially this one. It's kind of hard to see some of the numbers because of the white and the black. We've got 5 of those. As far as uses for these, I don't know. Maybe, I've actually never used them. But there could be a potion that increases your chance to attack for an hour or something. And your attacks can roll a d30 instead of a d20, so you have a much better chance at hitting. Although, don't you also have even more of a chance to roll low, I guess? I don't know how all that math works, but if you guys have an idea, let me know. How we can use a 30-sided die, or perhaps a 60-sided die. There's the 60. And I'd roll it, but it's literally a ball. Oh, I got a 59, I swear, and then I smacked it. And then one of my favorite dice I own, actually, a D100. There's the 100 right there. There it is. I love the color. It looks like a Dragon Ball. It's a nice amber color. Beautiful. Very hard to roll. Oh, nope, it's going down. This is not a level table. So that's it for, like, weird sided dice. Now let's get into some dice I use for kind of like the random elements of the game. And basically dice that help me generate something if I need to generate something real quick. So let's look at this. This is from a... what was it? There was a special set of dice for Magic the Gathering. And this has, like, I think it's a bunch of different factions. There's a dragon, there's a fist. Looks like a mask or a demon, I don't know. But they leave it really, like, subtle, so you can kind of interpret it in many different ways. So if I were to roll this, I don't know. This, to me, looks like a tree. Maybe a wave, but it looks more like a tree. So maybe it's got something to do with, like, a bunch of druids that put nature over actual, like, people. This looks like a mask to me, so maybe it's like a faction, a guild, has to do with like disguise, maybe an assassin's guild. Pretty cool. So this is good for like a faction, if I need to be like, oh, there's a group and they're a bunch of fire worshippers, they worship the fire god, or they worship a red dragon that, red dragons have fire breath. These actually don't really generate anything. They're just kind of... they're literally rock, paper, scissors dice. I don't know when I'd need to use these, but I think I found them at work and nobody claimed them, and I was like, these are mine now. If you wanted to, like, do like this, you could play rock, paper, scissors, or you could roll other dice and see who rolls higher. Or you can roll the rock, paper, scissors dice, I suppose. Let's see. These ones, I don't know what game these are from. I'm pretty sure they're from like a popular game, so I'm sure somebody could identify them. So these two have 2 sides that are plus, 2 sides that are minus, and 2 sides that have nothing. So again, off the top of my head right now, I can't think of how to use these, but it could be like a hit, a miss, or I don't know. I get creative, but I have to think of it. This one has 3 of each. There's no blank spots, but same idea. So this one would be good for like straight up hit or miss. I'm gonna save that one. This one is just an X or 2X or 3X. I don't know where I would use this. I don't think I would use this for like critical hits because I don't want 3 times the damage. Triple damage would be kind of nuts. I don't know what I'd use that for. Let's see. This one, again, not really a generating die more than it is. Oh, I rolled horribly. So my friend traded this to me. I gave him a d20 of some sort. He gave me this. There are times in the game, I won't get into it, it's like a rules heavy thing. But there's a time in the game where you want to roll 2 d20s at the same time. This one has one on the outside and a tiny one on the inside. So I actually rolled a 1 on the outside one and is it a 2? It is a 2 on the inside one. Horrible. Both rolls. Very cool die though. We did these, we did these. Let's get into... This is just a really simple left or right. If I need to quickly think of left or right, I don't know why I'd need to roll a die necessarily, but hey, maybe. If I'm deciding, I don't know, this is pretty specific, but let's say I need to decide an NPC is fighting the players and he has a shield in one hand and a sword in the other, I can say, okay, the sword is in his right hand, because it might come into play. That's the best thing about D&D is you don't know when you're going to need, you know, to do something specific like that. These are all generating stuff. I'm trying to... Okay, that's good. This one must be from some old, like, war game, military type, just by the look of it. But it can be used in D&D, because they're basically battle tactics. So, if the groups are fighting a bunch of goblins, and I'm not sure how I want the goblins to fight yet, I'm making sure it's in focus, I could say, okay, these goblins are going to... They're going to rally. So they're going to, like, you know, take the turn to kind of prepare what they need to do, support each other, whatever, give buffs through magic, and then maybe next turn they will rally again. No, I would reroll that. Are you kidding me? There's only one rally on here. Down. I guess that would be like hunker down. Like take the turn to like brace themselves and do a defensive stance. Fire if they have any archers or magic users. So lots of different just tactics. Advance, ambush, rally, of course, fire, down, run. If it made sense. That one's always fun. I'm saving this one for last. I have 3 of these, which are just different colors. I don't know what board game this is from. It's from some game. Wow. I rolled all greens. There are 6 colors. There's no repeat green on this one, or any of them. That's crazy. Alright, blue and yellow. So these are good for a lot of things. I mostly use them for treasure. If I need to think of treasure on the spot, I'll use these as an inspiration for like an element. So this would be like a weapon or something that has lightning. So think of like a sword that has lightning damage, or a ring that gives lightning protection. Blue can be cold damage, green can be force damage, red would be fire. We got purple, could be narcotic. What's it called? Necrotic. I almost said narcotic. Orange could be radiant damage, maybe. So it could also be used like, if I need to really get into detail for an NPC, I'll be like, alright, the elf has red hair. They have blonde hair. The human. The waitress has purple hair. Awesome. Just a cool way to generate a color, and there's many more uses for them too. Eye color if you want to get specific. We did those. This one's interesting. What, who, why, when, how, where? It's got all the questions. So I haven't used this one, but I always think of uses for it. So I guess, like, what if the players are talking to an NPC? What if the NPC wants information from the players? They can... That's easy. Who? Who are you? Or if somebody sent the players to meet this character, who sent you? Why are you here? You know, just... I don't really use these, but I feel like when I start playing again, because most of these I got after I stopped playing, still collecting dice, I'll find many uses for all of these. Another one probably from a board game. This one's interesting. So we have like a potion bottle, a skeleton head, skull, an ooze creature, a goblin. What did we do? A dragon, a chest. I think that was all of them. So, okay, inside the cave that I didn't plan for the players to go into, there's a group of goblins. Super easy. Usually I can just improv something and be like, okay, goblins that tame wolves as mounts and also as, like, you know, trackers. Or inside the cave there is a hermit that is like an herbalist alchemist type guy, and he's making potions. Doesn't always have to be a combat encounter, so just some examples. Goblins, potions. There's a treasure chest, but are the players going to open it? And if they try to open it, it might be trapped, and if they don't check, they're going to take some necrotic damage. See how easy that was? Boom. So just making really easy, quick encounters. This one is just your pretty standard, like you're making a character real quick. So let's say I was generating a character for like a one-shot my friend was running, and I just wanted to see what I would end up with. We're going to be an elf ranger. That's a real original archetype, right? You just be Legolas. Ooh, what is that? A gnome sorcerer. And again, if I need to create like a... Let's say I need to create a tavern real quick. I wouldn't necessarily use the class dice, because they don't need to know like if the bartender is a druid or a sorcerer, because usually those type of characters are not going to have a class per se and like powers. But I could say, oh, it's a human at the bar, and the waitress is a half-elf. She's got purple hair. What else can I use? And she studies dragons. Or she has a dragon tattoo, and maybe she's part of a cult that worships a red dragon, and red dragons are usually not nice, they're usually bad guys. I just created that whole thing, and she's trying to recruit people. So sometimes you can use the dice to just generate stuff. And one more that is one of my favorites. This has a bunch of just body parts. So in combat, when the players or the NPCs that I control, let's say one of those goblins gets a critical hit, is the camera focused? So if a goblin gets a critical hit, I'll say, okay, the player that got hit by a club, they're dazed for a moment. So on their next turn, when they go to attack, their attack roll, their chance to hit is -2 on whatever they roll. Or if the player crits a giant, they slice his right leg open, his movement speed is reduced by like 10 feet, 2 squares on a grid. Just a little cool thing to add to critical hits. Right foot. You get the idea. Right foot again. That's it for those dice. I mean, these I like a lot. Let me show them one more time. Just all the ones that I can just roll and create something real quick from them is pretty awesome. Next up, we have a very interesting set of dice. It's kind of in the same vein as the dice I just showed, the like creating something just by a dice roll. So before I do that, I'm going to show off the bag I keep it in. This bag was handmade by a friend of mine. I want to make sure to give her props. What an amazing job. It was a birthday gift. She felt like doing some crafting. She was like, what colors would you want for like a dice bag? And I was like, oh my god, I want a dice bag. Very well done, gorgeous, love it. I picked the colors. I wanted gray. I like gray with blue. Let's get into these dice. They're not going to have numbers on them. So these are called Rory's Story Cubes, and they come in a bunch of different sets. I have 3 sets. I do want to get more. So the way I remember, now I'm not pulling these out, or rather I haven't pulled these out in a super long time. So let me organize them real quick while you guys can kind of check out the pictures. These are similar to that silver die I showed before that had the Magic the Gathering factions, where you can kind of just interpret it however you want. And these are made to, like, you know, get your creativity going. Some of them are very simple, like this is obviously the Earth, but you can make it something else. It's up to whoever rolls the dice. There should be 9 each. There we go. So the blues tend to be like actions. The black is tending to be like items. This is also items. I mean, I forget how they're exactly categorized. I don't have like the boxes anymore. I'm going to do a full video on these, but we'll do a few examples. I'm going to pick one of each. Doesn't even matter. Put all the other ones to the side. Using these 3 dice, I'm going to make an adventure. Okay. So these look, again, sometimes you can really, I'm trying to find a very specific one, but for now, we got this. So, we got a palace. I'm sure that could be seen as other things, but this one is definitely like a palace to me. We got somebody reading, so this could be somebody's looking at a map trying to find this palace. So the players come across this map, and X marks this palace, this kingdom they've never heard of. As far as the lock is concerned, I'm going to say that when they found the map, they also found a key to a lock. And with the X being this castle, I'm sure the treasure chest is there, right? Boom, I just got to fill in the blanks now. That's an entire adventure that would take multiple sessions. Getting there, interacting with the people at this palace. Are they friendly? Are they foes? Does the group talk about this, or do they keep it to themselves and see if they can ask somebody who won't, you know, tell everybody, hey, they have that key to that treasure chest that has that crazy strong item. You just go crazy with it. Let me do one more. And again, I'm going to do a full video on these because they're so damn cool. Oh, this one's a little more interesting. How are we going to do this? So this, to me, I think of poison. Possibly like explosives. A moon. And then laughing. Let's think. So laughing in this situation, I feel like there could be an evil character that shows up during the night and poisons people. And the only calling card, quote unquote, he leaves behind is you can hear them laughing as they go back into the forest. And that's the sign that somebody has been poisoned by this character again. And then the players have to set a trap and try to catch this person. And or figure out a cure for this poison. So it's an assassin that uses poison during the night and then laughs as they run away. And nobody can catch him. That's a whole, at least a session of just trying to catch this person. Now, let me find one very specific die to show an example of. I think it was one of these. Give me one moment. There's one here that looks like it could be. I don't even want to say it. I want you guys to just see it first. There goes one. Oh, I think it was this one. Maybe it wasn't, but that's fine. We'll use this as an example. This one could be interpreted as a lot of different things. Obviously, the first thing I think of is like a shadow creature that is formed from shadows and attacks people or possesses them. I used to play these with the kids I work with. I would bring these and we'd just play with them. We would roll them and make a story. And one of the kids wanted this to be Batman because he's got the ears, he's all black, and, you know, he's in the shadows. And I was like, that's epic. So you could really do turtle, awesome. The hand. So a lot of these leave a lot to the imagination. And we got all sorts of actions. Maybe I'll do a stream with these and roll a bunch and we can like come up with adventures that way. That might be sick. I would love some input. But that is, again, it's called Rory's Story Dice. There are different sets and I want to get more, but these are awesome. If I'm just sitting down trying to plan like what I want to do for D&D on that session, I'll roll these until something really sick comes to mind and I'll just work off that. Very useful. Guys, I think we did it. I think we're at the final bunch of dice. This is the, I guess, bunch of dice that I just keep in a separate thing that I usually use when I play. If I'm not using like a set, like sometimes I'll grab 3 sets when I play and just use those for the whole session. Sometimes I'll just throw these out and pick out what I want to use. So I'll go over most of them, but not all of them. I really like this color. I have 6 of these. Just 6-sided dice. And then I like the rounded with the pips, so I just have a whole bunch of those. Also, if I'm playing like Lorcana or Magic the Gathering, instead of using the other dice I mentioned earlier, I'll just use a bunch of these as damage counters. These 2 might be my favorite ones though. This green with yellow, very nice. And then this darker blue, awesome. This is actually the very first part of the first video. This is my favorite set of dice, but they also made a version of rounded pip 6-sided dice. So it's the same exact style as my favorite set. Another just metal D20. Nothing too crazy. A bunch of 8s. I did say that I didn't have a lot of 8s in my extras because they're like all here. Not all, but I have a whole bunch because I like them so much. There, that's most of them. Just the translucent ones mostly. 12s don't get a lot of love. How many did I have in here? 2. I have like 2, maybe 1 more somewhere, because 12s aren't used a whole lot. A lot of 10s. Again, I'm not going to go through all of them. I've got a few that have, you know, those really cool, that really cool font. That's another 12. There we go. I'm not going to go over everything. This is a die from the game Seen It. I have Seinfeld, Harry Potter, and Disney, I think. Lots of just D20s. There are a few I'm going to talk about, but you get the idea. Just extra dice. This is my favorite percentile die. Super basic. It's just white with silver, but I like it. So first I'll show, so if you've been watching all this stuff, here's a 4-sided die. You would never want to step on one because they're a pyramid, but also when you roll them, they don't do all that much rolling. Like when you roll a 10, that sucker rolls. But these just kind of like fall and then land somewhere. Not my favorite shape. So I went ahead and ordered these. I rolled off screen. So they are like crystal shaped and they have 4 sides and they roll. They actually roll pretty decently. So I prefer using these over the pyramids. If I step on this, I'll survive. If I step on this, I might just have to lose my foot. Who knows? Another metal. This is another alternative to a 4-sided die. So this has 12 sides, but it only has the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. So for a D4 roll, I could just roll this, because that thing is gonna roll, because D12s have a lot of sides, right? I can't get the roll on the camera, but at least you guys can hear it's actually rolling, right? There we go. A 1, sad. The last thing I will show is my very first D20. I showed my first set at the beginning of the last video, but before I bought a set, I just bought a D20. I didn't have any dice. I was playing D&D in school during lunch, and I worked near a game store. It's just a translucent blue die. Used to have white, but much later after I got it, I made the numbers gold. And unfortunately, after so much use, I can't use this anymore. This is actually a retired D20. I keep it in my bag, but I don't use it because, let's see if I can find... So the 4 is injured. See that little nick? It's actually, I don't know if you can see it, but it's misshapen a little bit. I don't know how it happened, but it makes it so it's not an even roll. Oh, can we tell from this angle? Yeah, you see how it's like flat and then not so flat? I don't know what happened to this thing because it wasn't like that, but it doesn't roll like fairly, you know, like evenly anymore. Come on, camera, what are you doing? There we go. So I keep it. I don't really roll it, but I did get a very similar die. It's a little smaller. The one on the right is smaller, right? Same exact color though, and same numbers. And this one isn't damaged. Oh, I got a 20. I don't know if that was on the camera, but you saw that, right? I moved it right over. I didn't turn it. And before I got my first dice set, I took these 2 D6s from my parents' backgammon game. So I had a D20 and 2 6s, and that's all I had. And then I bought my first set of dice, and then everything you saw on this video and the one previously, the collection has become insane. So that's it. I guess we'll also just randomly show off this. I like this D20 a lot. I'll usually roll these 2 together. I don't usually like red, but I like that it's kind of cloudy and kind of marble texture. And of course I made the numbers gold. It's always gold or silver. So that's the entire dice collection. If you watched everything, I really appreciate it. I know a lot of you guys coming over to this new channel don't really know D&D or these crazy dice, but I appreciate the support. We'll be getting into more like gameplay stuff and tutorials and just explaining what the game is. But we're going to end this one here. Thank you guys so much. Catch you next time. Peace.